Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network. My name is Zoe Muro, and I am honored and delighted to be your host for Choice, your creative superpower. We're coming to you from Oakland, California, each Thursday at 12 noon Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time. If you're coming back, it's great to see you here again. And if this is your first time, welcome. And thank you for tuning in. As a religious science practitioner with the New Thought Media Network, I have a ministry. And as a transformational coach, I have a mission. Both are to help people live their lives to the fullest. And what we do here on this show is we explore how wielding your superpower for the greatest good can co-create a most fulfilling life experience. Today, in episode 72, we'll be exploring the relationship between choice and resilience. A couple of episodes back, we explored choice and adaptability. It became clear to me that we needed to discuss resilience as well, since they are most certainly related concepts and they can complement one another. However, while they are closely related, they most certainly have differences. Check this out. On the adaptability side, an individual's capacity to adjust, change, and thrive in response to new circumstances, challenges, or environments. The ability to modify one's behavior, strategies, or approaches to effectively respond to changing situations. Adaptability is not just about surviving, but it's also about thriving in new or changing circumstances. And it's the ability to proactively and positively embrace change and uncertainty. Okay? All good stuff. Resilience, on the other hand, is an individual's ability to bounce back, to recover, and withstand adversity or difficult situations. It's the capacity to endure stress, setbacks, and hardships while at the same time maintaining mental and emotional stability. Resilience is an individual's ability to return to their previous state of well-being or functioning after facing adversity. The capacity to absorb and endure difficulties without experiencing significant long-term negative consequences. Okay, so you could think of adaptability as being more like the Swiss Army knife of capacity, if you will, whereas resilience, that's the hardened steel itself. Okay. Or perhaps you might even, rather than using the idea of steel, perhaps a mighty tree, all right, which has the ability to be resilient, even though the wind is blowing it one way or another. It stands tall, it stands firm. Okay. All right. Of course, we could just have put this a little more simply, and I probably should do that. So let's do this one. Adaptability, the capacity to adjust and thrive in the face of change and uncertainty. Resilience is more about the ability to withstand and recover from adversity. Okay, so you can see how each of these would play off the other and how each provides a real benefit to the other, and how both of them can provide a significant benefit to how we make our choices. All right. Now, when you look at these concepts, these abilities, all right, and you see how they complement each other so well. And by the way, I use the word abilities. I did that deliberately, all right, because these are tools, all right. They're tools for engaging in life at a much richer and deeper level. So being able to take these and work with them can make a huge difference. Now, I can't simply say, I choose to be resilient. I can, however, make choices which will enable me to become resilient, to increase my resilience, and to maintain it. All right? So let's see what we've got. Now, I simply have to start with mindset. I know. I talk about mindset all the time, but with good reason. The choice to develop and nurture a growth mindset sets the stage for both adaptability and resilience. The ability to see challenges as opportunities for growth, for learning, makes it far more likely that you wouldn't simply turn back in defeat, but that you'd be able to step forward in expectancy. The expectancy of gaining knowledge and being able to apply that knowledge as you go forward. Being resilient often requires that we are adaptable. Remember this one? We know that as things differ significantly from the way we would like them to be and the way they actually are, that stress can build. Okay. And it can build unless we are indeed adaptable, unless we are resilient. So knowing that disparity, those discrepancies can cause such significant stress, choosing to strengthen our resilience can reduce and it can even eliminate stress. It doesn't remove the discrepancies or the conditions or the circumstances, all right? Let's be really clear about that. Okay, those things still exist, but resilience most definitely allows us to respond intelligently, effectively, and with greater confidence. And all of those can reduce or eliminate stress. Our willingness to be adaptable is actually a major component of our resilience, because once again, we're not simply giving up or seeing ourselves as having failed. Right? Nelson Mandela put it this way: do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. That's resilience. Choosing to develop and maintain a strong social network of friends, families, communities, all of those and more can help you become more resilient by virtue of the support that they can provide, emotional and otherwise. Choosing interdependence, right? Interdependence over a stoic independence can make an enormous difference for you. By choosing to strengthen your connections to friends and family and your community. Community is huge. And doing what you can to keep your relationships healthy, you are contributing to your resilience. In addition to your social network, choosing to find and take advantage of professional resources, whether we're talking about doctors or therapists, subject matter experts, coaches, etc., these can be a significant force multiplier. Do you remember the phrase, work smarter, not harder? Well, that force multiplier of being able to take advantage of our various networks, social network, professional network, etc. Okay, that's an example of how to work smarter and not harder. Closely related to that choice is choosing to excel in self-care, not just getting by, but truly investing in your well-being. So this doesn't mean that you work yourself to the point of being just completely frazzled and demolished and you can't go on. So you have to take a break. That's not self-care. That's not dealing with your well-being. Okay. It's about making a true concerted effort. So whether it's choosing to eat well, maintain a healthy body composition, exercise, standing firm on your need for rest and relaxation, right? That means if you schedule when you're going to eat, if you schedule when you're going to work out, if you schedule things of that nature, well, why not schedule when you're going to rest and relax as well? And put that into your calendar. Make it something that is an appointment, right? You don't just blow off your appointments. This appointment just happens to be with you. Okay. And without a doubt, keeping your spiritual path a priority. Now we can see that self-care can be yet another cornerstone for resilience. Imagine getting ready to start a climb in the mountains. Okay. Now let's say that this is something that you've wanted to do for a long time. So the motivation is definitely there. It's not like you're being forced to do this. This is something you've wanted to do. So the motivation, solid, at least in the beginning. Of course, once you start the climb, you'll either have to climb to the summit or you'll have to return to base. There's no alternative transportation, no helicopter is going to swoop in and bring you to the top. Okay. The climb itself most certainly will require stamina, which, by the way, is really just another way of saying physical resilience. So wouldn't you plan your route, gather all the supplies and resources needed for the climb, and prepare physically for the effort, and maybe even consult or hire a guide? Those are all choices that you could make to ensure that your resilience is at its peak. In point of fact, resilience, however it's needed in life, actually requires similar choices. Okay, so just as you set a specific goal for that climb, so too would you set realistic and achievable goals in other aspects of your life and do the appropriate planning and gaining knowledge and acquiring support, etc. Right? Choose to do what is necessary to understand the why of a goal or an outcome. What I mean is to understand why accomplishing that particular goal is going to benefit you, to understand what it will enable, or for that matter, what it will prevent. That clarity can bolster your resilience. right? You have a specific goal. You know why that goal is important. Having those two pieces can really help you move forward because they give you that clarity. And while clarity can boost your resilience, believe me, confusion and doubt can just as easily drain your resilience. So we can see that resilience is certainly desirable, and we have ways that we can develop and enhance it since it's not a static state. It's a dynamic, evolving capacity. You know, people who are resilient often possess a number of desirable qualities or traits, any of which can inform and guide their choices. We spoke of a growth mindset. What that brings to the table is, of course, a more positive outlook on life, among other things. Excuse me. That more positive outlook means that we could be more likely to view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, not merely see them as obstacles or obstructions, as opposed to only approaching those things that we are certain we already know. We can choose not just to endure, but to celebrate the process of learning, just as we value the knowledge that we've gained. All right. So being able to celebrate that process itself, okay, tremendous value in that. That is going to provide a boost to your resilience. All right. And then we can build the associated skills, and that enables an even greater sense of optimism and confidence. Perfect attributes to have if you're looking to cope with stress or adversity. In fact, the greater your optimism and confidence, oftentimes the less stress you'll feel. But I want you to really be clear about this. I want to make no mistake about it. If you're simply arrogant and you're overestimating your abilities, that's not quite the same as being confident. All right. It can be a tricky situation sometimes, differentiating between true self-efficacy and bravado. An easy tell, to use a term from card playing. So an easy tell is if you have a refusal to consider alternative approaches or perspectives or to seek additional information because, well, you just have it all figured out. Yeah, that's definitely a good time to take a step back and say, okay, what am I doing here? Basically, the most resilient people recognize the importance of beginner's mind rather than touting their expertise. So what does happen when Mr. Arrogant and Ms. Resilient encounter serious setbacks? And they will. Well, Mr. Arrogant will be able to tell you exactly how someone else messed things up. Oh, yeah, they didn't provide the right information. Any one of a number of reasons. Of course, they wouldn't call them excuses. They'd call them reasons. On the other hand, Ms. Resilient chooses to go into problem-solving mode. Not being held back by discrepancies in what was thought to be the outcome, the resilient person addresses the tasks of identifying, analyzing, and resolving problems, right? Identifying, analyzing, and resolving problems, whether doing it alone or with others, thankful for the support, being willing to lead or follow as appropriate. Well, now that I've painted this wonderful picture of this resilient person, I'm going to throw a wet towel onto the whole thing. I certainly do believe that a person can be resilient, but that doesn't make them a de facto resilient person, right? There can easily be times, circumstances, conditions, and so forth that will sorely test and even overcome a person's resilience. I mean, think about this. We are interconnected beings. So, what's going on in our life physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they all affect one another. Excuse me. And given that interconnectedness, what's going on for our family and loved ones, our community, even the world, that can have an effect on us as well. Oh, and just in case you're thinking you have to figure out how to be resilient at all times, while that would be great, life rarely keeps things that simple. But once again, we try, we learn, we grow, we try again when we can, if we choose to. Okay. So the idea of this interconnectedness, not only of people, but also of all the different ways that we look at our well-being. Think about what happened when COVID hit. Now, it was a disease in and of its own, became this pandemic. Whatever it was that was going on in your life at the time that that hit, that really took a big bite out of your resilience. Think about all the people that you know who have dealt with the pandemic and all of the other issues that were going on at the same time, and things that really didn't bother you before suddenly became enormous. Ways in which that you were strong before, you suddenly felt weaker. Ways in which you were confident, you suddenly felt much less confident. Things that were ordinary for you to do became awkward. All right. All of those factors had an effect on your resilience. So even though you might have had everything sussed out in terms of how you're going to spend your time and how you're going to be able to deal with all of the issues that come up, the tasks that you have, the work, the pleasure that you want to enjoy, all right, all of that can be affected significantly, all right, as your resilience is challenged. So as we recognize that this can happen, as we recognize the importance of rebuilding that resilience, we get to see that there are things that we need to do, right? We always come down to that when you think about it. It's always what's mine to do, all right? There are times that we can change things. There are times that we cannot. But we always have the opportunity to consider how we want to approach it. Okay. You know, when we talk about all the different things that are going on in the world, we know that they affect us. But we also know that we can affect the world. All right. We have the ability to bring our consciousness forward. Okay. That is also part of our resilience. I'm going to close today with these words from a good doctor. You might know this doctor. This is Dr. Seuss. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own. And you know what you know. And you are the one who'll decide where to go. I'm sorry to say, but sadly it's true. And hang-ups can happen to you. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. Thank you, Doctor. So, face up to your problems, whatever they are. You are resilient enough to do that. And if you're not, you have things that you can do to build that resilience. It's your choice. Always your choice. So that's going to do it for this week. So what's on your mind regarding choice and resilience? What were your thoughts about this? Do you have a topic relating to choice that you would like to discuss? All right. Do you have a topic that you'd like me to choose and use in a future episode? Would you like to have a counseling session, a coaching session, or a prayer session with me? Any of these, all right? Email me here at zodemuro@gmail.com. Anything that you say to me is always held in complete and total confidence, always. All right. So, as much as I love spending time with you, I want to invite you to spend time with other hosts here on the network. We have quite a bit going on. For example, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, join the ever delightful Reverend Gina Calvario Kripka for The Joy is in the Journey. Today's topic is 12 Steps to Loving Yourself. Great topic. 2 p.m. Mountain Time, there's the Vibrant Living Hour with practitioner Ken Ludwig. 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Reverend Brock Ford is going to present his spiritual toolkit. Here on the New Thought Media Network, our mission is to bring the joy of new thought to the widest audience possible. To present that, we need your support. So if you can, please spread the word about the New Thought Media Network. All right. Let everyone know, everyone that you know, let them know about the network. Let them know about the over 40 hours of programming that we have going on here. And if you have felt that you've been nourished by this network, nourished by what you've learned, what you've explored, consider going to ntmedia.org/donate. Right? Help us make this a world that works for everyone. All right, folks. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Until we meet again, I will invite you to choose well, choose wisely, and know, absolutely know, that you have this incredible superpower. Namaste.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe DeMuro.